Did you know that in the 1960s, Detroit's big three automakers General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler controlled nearly 90% of the American car market? Today, that dominance is long gone. How did these giants of the automotive world lose their crown? And why did Japanese cars rise just as American cars began to falter? Let's explore one of the most intriguing declines in corporate history, the golden era of American cars. After World War II, American cars became more than just a means of transportation. They were symbols of freedom, power, and status. As interstate highways expanded and suburban living flourished, families desired bigger, more stylish vehicles. Cars like the Chevrolet Impala, Ford Mustang, and Dodge Charger transformed from mere machines into cultural icons. Detroit thrived on powerful engines, chrome designs, and efficient mass production. By the late 1950s and 1960s, the American auto industry was the envy of the world. However, being at the top can lead to complacency, and that is where the problems began. Problem 1. Overconfidence and complacency. The success of Detroit led to a sense of arrogance among automakers. Instead of adapting to changing consumer needs, American companies doubled down on what had always worked: large, fuel-hungry vehicles. They prioritized power and style over efficiency and durability. During the 1960s and early 1970s, the focus was not on miles per gallon, but on how large a car's V8 engine could be. Quality control suffered, as consumers continued to buy American cars regardless. For decades, Detroit operated under the illusion that American customers had no real alternatives, but that illusion would soon be shattered. Problem 2. The oil crisis and rising fuel costs. The 1973 oil crisis marked a pivotal moment. Suddenly, gas prices soared, and people began to question whether they truly needed large, gas-guzzling cars. While American automakers rushed to produce smaller vehicles, Japanese companies like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan already had fuel-efficient and reliable models ready for the market. Imagine the frustration of a family that had just purchased a massive Oldsmobile or Chrysler, both beautiful but thirsty for gas, right when fuel prices doubled. Meanwhile, their neighbor was happily driving a Toyota Corolla, which consumed fuel like a lightweight athlete. The oil crisis revealed Detroit's oversight. They were unprepared for a shift in consumer priorities, where efficiency began to outweigh size. Problem 3. Quality issues and reputation decline. A significant challenge faced by American automakers was the quality of their vehicles. During the 1970s and 1980s, American cars gained a negative reputation for frequent breakdowns, rust problems, and poor workmanship. Consumer reports from that era consistently ranked American cars lower than Japanese imports. In contrast, Japanese automakers excelled in lean manufacturing and continuous improvement, often referred to as Kaizen. For instance, Toyota's production system emphasized precision, waste reduction, and employee involvement. As a result, Japanese cars tended to last longer, break down less frequently, and cost less to maintain. For American buyers, this situation extended beyond mere savings. It was primarily about trust. Once consumers lost faith in the reliability of Detroit vehicles, it became incredibly challenging to regain their confidence. Problem 4. Union costs and inefficiency. Another major hurdle for American automakers was structural in nature. High labor costs due to strong unions, generous pensions, and healthcare commitments posed significant challenges. While these factors were important for supporting workers' livelihoods, they made it difficult for American companies to maintain competitive prices with leaner Japanese manufacturers. Factories in Japan, along with American transplant factories like Toyota's plants in Kentucky, operated with more flexibility and efficiency, free from the burden of legacy costs. This enabled Japanese cars to be sold at competitive prices while still offering better quality. In contrast, Detroit's large factories and union contracts became anchors that hindered their progress while Japanese firms surged ahead. Problem 5. Design disconnect and consumer trends. By the 1980s, American cars had developed a reputation for being dull, bulky, and outdated. The once thrilling designs from the muscle car era had been replaced by boxy sedans that failed to captivate buyers. Meanwhile, Japanese cars not only maintained their reliability, but also adapted more swiftly to changing consumer preferences. Models like the Honda Accord and Civic, Toyota Corolla and Camry, and Nissan Maxima and Sentra emerged as popular choices. These vehicles may not have been flashy, but they perfectly suited the new American lifestyle, affordable, fuel-efficient, and easy to maintain. It was as though Detroit was still trying to sell oversized boomboxes while Japan quietly developed the iPod. The rise of Japanese cars in America. By the 1980s and 1990s, Japanese automakers evolved from being outsiders to mainstream leaders in the American automotive market. Honda Civics and Toyota Camrys became ubiquitous in American suburbs, while Nissan trucks and SUVs garnered a loyal following. Even luxury consumers began to shift their preferences to Japanese brands with the introduction of Lexus, Acura, and Infiniti. Japanese brands understood a simple principle: the best marketing comes from satisfied customers. Word of mouth spread quickly, with friends recommending that their Toyota vehicles lasted 200,000 miles without major repairs. That kind of reputation was something money couldn't buy. At the same time, Japanese automakers invested in American factories, creating jobs and demonstrating their commitment to the American market. They were no longer viewed solely as imports. They had become part of the American automotive landscape. Attempts at a comeback? Did Detroit learn? To be fair, American automakers didn't remain passive forever. In the 1990s and 2000s, they found renewed success with trucks and SUVs. Ford's F-150 became a bestseller, and GM profited from large SUVs like the Suburban and Tahoe. However, this also highlighted a significant issue. Detroit continued to rely heavily on large vehicles while ignoring the growing demand for fuel efficiency and smaller cars. When the financial crisis hit in 2008, gas prices surged, leading to a collapse in truck sales. GM and Chrysler required government bailouts to survive. In contrast, Japanese automakers managed the recession better, thanks to their balance of fuel-efficient cars and hybrids like the Toyota Prius. What can we learn from the decline of American cars? Don't ignore consumer trends. Detroit assumed that Americans would always prefer large vehicles. But when fuel costs rose, consumer preferences shifted. Quality builds trust. Japanese automakers established reputations for reliability, while American cars struggled with breakdowns. Regaining trust once lost is challenging. Adaptability matters. Japanese companies embrace lean production and innovation, while Detroit remains stuck in old practices. Global competition is relentless. Being the largest in your home market does not guarantee survival when more agile competitors emerge. Today, American automakers are striving to reinvent themselves once again, this time focusing on electric vehicles. Tesla has disrupted the industry, while Ford and GM are investing billions in EV development. However, Japanese automakers remain strong competitors, and new challengers from Korea, like Hyundai and Kia, and even China, are entering the market. The decline of American cars isn't just a chapter of history. It's a cautionary tale about the consequences of taking customers for granted. The big question remains: can American automakers achieve a true comeback in the electric age? Or will history repeat itself? If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more in-depth analyses of business stories, corporate rises and falls, and valuable lessons for your own journey. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.